Batman and the Holy Terror. This was published by Elseworld Comics in 1991. Elseworld Comics is an imprint of DC Comics, trademarked in 1989, the year of me. Just kidding, even though I was born in 1989. Anyway, it is the first comic to bear the Elseworld logo, and Gotham by Gaslight was the first Elseworld comic book. Alright, so as you open it up, reads Elseworlds. In Elseworlds, heroes are taken from their usual settings and put into strange times and places, some that have existed or might have existed, or others that cannot, couldn't, or shouldn't exist. The result in stories that make characters who seem as familiar as yesterday seem as fresh as tomorrow. Alright, so, shows Gotham, looking very Victorian. A bunch of American flags with some crosses on them, not the stars. Very strange. As you can see, it shows Bruce in Crime Alley, of course, as all Batman origins go. Batman in Crime Alley, his parents had just been murdered. Jim Gordon, the detective that's always on the case, pops up, tells him that he's an Inquisitor. An Inquisitor is a official of the church that are hired to stop heresy and things of that nature. And he says here, I'm Jim Gordon. I'm an Inquisitor. Inquisitors have to ask the questions even when they don't want to. Bruce, even when you don't want to hear them, I'm sorry. Did you see the man who did this? Do you remember what he looked like? Yes, I suppose the real problem will be forgetting. The next few pages shows Jim Gordon talking to his superior, I guess, or judge. He's very angry. Found out that the man that killed Bruce's parents, Joe Chill, aka Joseph Chill in this book, and he's pissed off because the man was killed in a prison fight. He suspects that it was set up that way, and his official tells him to go home to his daughter Barbara and just take a chill pill, relax. And it shows Jim saying, yes sir, I'll do that, looking very angry. Next page shows fucking Vicky Vale, but in this book she's called Victoria Vale. And I just want to read you one little section of this page here. Closer to home, millionaire industrialist Oliver Queen. Who is Oliver Queen? I think we all know. Tried and convicted of sedition for his covert support in such underground Jewish pornographers as Isaac Singer, was executed this morning. Sources confirm that Queen repented in his final moments before his death. So, like I said, the government's very God and church oriented. Very, very strange universe this is indeed. Then it goes to Wayne Manor. Shows Bruce saying goodbye to Alfred. I guess they're parting ways. Shows them reminiscing, shaking hands, Shows Bruce here giving Alfred a hug. Goodbye, old friend. God bless you and keep you. So, like I said, very, very religious. And then it goes to Bruce's inner monologue. Here it shows Bruce going into the gymnasium. It says here, I can't resist a last goodbye to old abandoned dreams. Just showing him exercising, doing some stuff, and then he gets a visitor. He says, Jim, how the devil did you get in here? I didn't hear. Jim says, I didn't teach you all my tricks, Bruce. Had to save a couple in case I needed them. So, I don't know what that's about, I guess. Jim and Bruce have been in cahoots, and he's been training him, I guess. And then Jim spills the beans and tells Bruce who the man was that killed his parents. Next few pages, Bruce is just shocked. Like the look on this face here, he looks so shocked. And then he starts really getting emotional. And then he screams at Jim saying, damn you, damn your good intentions, damn your concern. Kind of just fucking flipping out on Jim here, and Jim feels real bad. And at one point Bruce said, how many other people have you done this to? So then it goes to, I guess, a flashback scene here of Thomas and Martha. Thomas and Martha, I guess, were physicians in this society, from what I gathered. If you're like gay, homosexual, have diseases, deformities, I mean, they take you out because you're not fit in this society here. Shows a pregnant woman on this bed here. Like I said, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because I want you guys to read this comic here. Then it shows Bruce, closing the book, and apparently that was Thomas's journal. And he's talking to this blind guy. I'm not sure what this blind guy is about. He's just talking about how he wants to get down and get down deep and find out who killed his parents and why. This old guy used to be part of a resistance, I take it, and was just telling Bruce, don't do it. You can't do it. There's no point in trying. There's no more resistance, and yeah. So next page here shows like this cathedral, and I guess Bruce was training to become a priest of some kind, and he's taking his vows. And as he's taking his vows, his inner monologue talks about how he hears these words but doesn't believe them anymore, and he's very suspicious of the church and whatnot. Then it shows this one scene where he says, "And then I'll embark upon that path." I'm not going to tell you what path it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows. And it shows a bat behind him. It shows him on this computer here. And then it shows him in a cave. His inner monologue says, "I used to play in this cave as a child. Found a tunnel not far from the house. Didn't even tell my parents about it. It was my secret place, and so it shall be again." Shows a bat here too. And then he says, "Alfred told me about this when I was a boy, about how Father played the role of a demon in the church passion play when he was a young man about his age. I'd forgotten all about it until I ran across it again while packing up the house. I think Father would approve." And it shows him like holding up the costume, I guess, which he's going to don. And what's on the front of it? It's a fucking bat. Then he goes to this church, I guess. This is a priest. I guess he lives at the church. And he breaks in and starts harassing this guy, trying to find out, get some information. And he just looks menacing. And Bruce starts quoting like scripture, I guess. And the guy says, "Don't speak the Lord's words to me." Just doing his Batman thing, punching him, and trying to get down to business here and find out what happened. Next 2 pages. Shows him swooping into this giant facility, like this huge fucking church here. It looks crazy. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm not going to read too much just because I want you guys to read this book. So, talking to a security guard. He is a reverend now, so he's gaining access into this place. And as you can see, he gets in, uses a terminal, finds out about this one location he's got to go to, and it shows him kind of looking like he's unsure of himself. He says in his inner monologue, "Dear God, I want this over with. I want to find the man who ordered my parents' deaths and be done with it." And he just looks scared, or unsure. So he's going down, he's fighting, I guess, the training from Jim, and he's going down a detention area. He ties up the guys. And as he's going through this hallway that has a bunch of glass rooms, and he hears this vibration, looks over, and there's this guy vibrating his hands super fast, trying to vibrate his way through the glass. I mean, who could that be? Who is fast? Who's the fastest man alive who can vibrate through glass, and it's fucking Barry Allen. Fucking Barry Allen is in this fucking detention area. And he's just trying to get through, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's trying to vibrate through the glass, and Bruce tells him, if you change the frequency of one hand and change the frequency of another hand, maybe you could push through this glass or break it, because this glass has a vibration density, I guess, mechanism on it. And then bam, he gets through. So he gets through, and still talking about, what's up with this detention area. And there's this other guy that has same speed as Barry. Apparently the same way that Barry got his powers. The people doing research on all these inhabitants have been trying to copy the same incident to see if they get the same results, and this guy's trying to do the same thing Barry just did, and bam, blinks himself out of existence. And they're going through, and Barry's telling him about how he had a girl on the other side, and he had a family, and then he was taken, and he hadn't seen her in months, and they're just talking about all these inmates. And as they're going through, they see a guy in a tank of water, and Barry says, "Arthur, can you hear me? Arthur, I escaped. I'll get you out. I can do it." And the guy just looks traumatized and shocked. And it shows Barry saying, "Damn it, Arthur, say something. Another experiment? In a way, another test subject." And it shows Barry just looking devastated. He says he broke, not in the way they wanted. So, and then it shows like this weird amphibious hybrids, like one fish woman mermaid thing, half man, half shark, half human, half stingray. It's very strange. So as they're going down, all of a sudden this giant fist from the floor comes up and whaps both of them. Shows this woman, and every time she casts a spell, I guess a spell you could say, she's speaking backwards. I mean, what woman can cast spells, but she has to speak backwards to say it? Is fucking Zatanna. Zatanna's here, and she's been brainwashed and works for these people. So it shows them fighting, shows Barry doing his speed man thing. The glass broke on one of the tanks, and the mermaid / fish person fell out of the tank, and she's dying. She can't breathe, and she's saying, free at last, free. It just shows Barry looking super pissed off, and he's like, "You murdering witch," and shows Zatanna here just smiling, and he's like, "You vicious bitch, you want punishment? I'll give you punishment." And she starts speaking in tongues, I want to say, but just not in tongues, just speaking backwards, and she uses her power and throws him against the wall. And as all this is going on, Bruce is just staying with the weird fish mermaid woman, and he's like saying, maybe I could stop her, and she keeps speaking in tongue and speaking backwards, and he takes his gas pellets, throws it at her, hits her in the mouth, they explode, she can't talk anymore. Didn't kill her, but she can't speak. And he's like, "Barry, you alright?" And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. They're just nailed down by the fish mermaid woman, and it says, "Oh God, if I hadn't tried to escape, she might still be alive." So I guess he's blaming himself for the death. And all of a sudden, shows a man coming up saying, "Or anyone else is hurt because of you. Now why don't you just go back to your room, Barry?" And it shows Barry looking super pissed, saying, "You son of a bitch, I didn't kill her, you did, you let her die." This guy here, he's I guess he's the guy running this. Shows Barry just flying at him, like doing his fucking Flash thing. It shows the guy saying, "Sigh, I'm sorry you feel that way, Barry, truly sorry." And Barry says, "Yes, I'm sure you. What are you doing?" "Oh God, no, oh God." And the man's name is Ertl, I guess it is, and he says, "Damn you." And then all of a sudden, as he's caught on fire, bursting into nothing because he's running so fast, he says, "Iris." And as we all know, as Flash, Iris is his lady on the outside. Batman just screaming, "Barry!" And he just starts crying. We never see Batman cry, and like I said, this Batman is not our Batman. He's a very religious, spiritual Batman, and he's just crying and so pissed off, so he goes after the guy, and then all of a sudden, bam, something comes out and grabs him. This weird clay-type substance, like this hand comes out, and I mean, who else, is made of clay? It's fucking Clayface. Clayface is there. So, Clayface snatches him up. You see some more test subjects, and the guy's talking about how they've had this one subject who is just astonishing, has all these powers given to him by our son, and the name of this program is called Green Man. He goes to the room and shows us the Green Man, looking all strung up like Jesus and shit, but has wires and things hooked up to him. He's being fed fucking kryptonite slowly into his blood, and I mean, who the fuck gets taken down by fucking kryptonite? It's fucking Superman. So Superman is a test subject here. The Ertl guys telling Batman, I'm going to test on you, see what kind of abilities you have, and talking about this specimen here, and Batman's just getting pissed off more and more, saying, "Yes, I have power, but it's not the power you think," and he breaks loose of the clutches of Clayface, and they begin to fight, and Bruce sees a canister of liquid nitrogen, and he busts it on Clayface and then kicks him to pieces. And I was just going down, the Ertl guy's like, "Don't, that's liquid nitrogen," and Batman's like, "Yes, I noticed." And then the Ertl guy says, "I can just easily run a test on you during an autopsy." So the guy busts out a gun, shoots at Batman, and ricochets come back at the Ertl guy. It ricochets off of Superman, bounces off, shoots the guy in the chest. and Batman's just standing over this guy's body, and you can see like the silhouette of Superman kind of just strung up like on a cross. It's very crazy looking, and for some reason, like, Batman's smiling at this at Superman. It's very strange. So he finds the location of the guy that hired Joe Chill to kill his parents. It shows them here, just, it's still inner monologue talking. It shows Batman asking if anybody's here, and the guy's like, "May I help you? I didn't know there was anyone in here. Obviously, I give you considerable credit, sir, to have penetrated this far into the cathedral. Perhaps you might tell me the reason for your presence here." And Batman, inner monologue, says, "Damn it, he can press any alarm faster than I can get to him. Play for time. I'm looking for the records of a certain proceeding. I've proceeded here for over 40 years. Perhaps I might be able to help you." So it shows him talking, and he's getting down to business at, like, asking who, on this date, why was it commissioned for Thomas and Martha Wayne to be murdered, and the guy starts telling him, and he says, "You really want to know who commissioned it?" "Everyone and no one." Tells him more about it. Just to sum it up, take out this organization and da-da-da-da-da, and he's, the guy says, "You can try," and you think Batman's just going to fly off the handle, but it shows him, "You may count on it, sir," and it shows him leaving. Then it goes to a scene of Bruce doing his reverent thing. It's still inner monologue, and he's bottom line saying, he's going to speak the word of God by day and do justice at night, and it kind of shows like this image of like a bat Christ. It's very crazy. Then the last scene is him in the Batmobile, and it says, "There may be no organized resistance, but thank heaven there are still men and women of conscience who will risk arrest and execution to build the weapons I will need in my jihad. I can do no less. Like me, they have no special powers, but perhaps that's exactly what is needed. A man with no power save God's power against the regime that has long since lost sight of the tenets he died for." And it just shows a scene here of the Batmobile and a bunch of bats. Last page shows Bat standing up on a gargoyle like he always does, and shows him swooping through the skyline of Gotham here. And it says, "Perhaps everything would have been different." I'm not going to tell you what it said before that, just because I want you guys to read this book. So yeah, this was Batman and the Holy Terror. So, awesome book. I need to get Gotham by Gaslight and check that out. I really dig these Elseworld comics. So anyway, guys, thanks, man.